Hello, everyone. You are welcome to my YouTube channel, Akeem Ola. We have another topic to treat today, and the topic we are going to treat today is on variation. Variation, variation. That is the topic we are going to treat today. What is variation all about? Variation is a mathematical topic that deals with relationship between two quantities. We can have relationship between A and B, and you can have the relationship between the name of the two particular commodity we are talking about. Now, variation can be divided into, I think there are four types of variation. We have the direct variation, we have the inverse, we have the joints, and we have the partial variation. What we are going to do is that we are going to be taking example on each of them one after the other. As far as today is concerned, the example we are going to consider today will be on direct variation, and that is what the question on the board is all about. The question on the board is on direct variation. What is direct variation? Direct variation deals with proportion. When I say proportion, we have this sign for proportionality sign. Direct variation is a kind of variation in which both quantities increases. As one quantity increases, the other two increases. Now let's go solving this particular question on the board. We have here the value of A varies. A is one of the quantity varies directly as the square of B. We need to interpret the first sentence, the first statement. The value of A varies directly as the square of B. That is where that direct variation comes into play. We have this directly telling us that A varies directly as the square of B. For you to be able to solve question on variation very well, direct variation very well. As a matter of fact, all the types of variation, for you to be able to solve question very well on it, you need to know change of subject or formulae. If you are having problem, if you are still having problem on change of subject or formulae, surely you will have problem solving question on variation. And that is the reason why I treated change of subject or formulae before coming to variation. Now let's go to the question. A, I have solution. A, as in this one, varies directly. That means I'm going to introduce my proportionality sign. That means that we have varies directly as the square of B. The square of B means I am going to square B. I am going to square B. Now I have this. The next thing I need to do now is to change this proportionality sign into equality sign. And for me to change the proportionality sign into equality sign, I am going to introduce a constant. That constant can be any letter, but it should be a letter that is different from the two letters, the two quantities that are involved. As you can see, the quantity involved on the board are A and B. So I can make my constant now to be K. I can even make my constant to be C. So let my constant is equal to K. That means now I'm going to have A is equal to K B squared. This is the relationship between A and B. But before we can accept this as relationship between A and B, we must find the value of K. How can we get the value of K? As you can see from the question, we are given of B, square of B, when A is equal to 3 and B is equal to 2. We are going to make use of this information here to get the value of our k. Now, let's get the value of our k. For us to get the value of k now, we are going to make k as the subject of formula. And for k to be the subject of formula here, I am going to divide both sides by b squared. If I divide both sides by b squared, that means my k now will now be equal to a all over b squared, which is now equal. We are already giving the value of a, and our a is 3 and our b is 2. So we substitute that into this equation. When you do that, you are going to have 3, which is the value of our a, all over b squared, which is 2 squared. That means our k now will now be equal to 3 all over 4. Then we can now substitute that into this equation. This a is equal to k b squared. This now implies that the relationship between a and b will now be equal to the value of k is 3. So we have 3 all over 4 b squared. This is the relationship between a and b, and we are done with the first part of the question. That is the a part of the question. Now let's go to b part of the question. If you look at that b part of the question, they said we should find a when b is equal to 3. Find a when b is equal to 3. For us to now solve b and c now, we will be making reference to the relationship to a and b, which is a question. That means they said we are giving the value of a. They said we should find a, and we are giving the value of b. That means now a is equal to question mark and b is equal to 3. For us to solve this now, we are still going to have a is equal to 3 all over 4 b squared. This now implies that our a now will now be 3 times, what is b? B is 3. B squared now will now be 3 times 3. That means we have 3 times 3 all over 4. 3 times 3 is 9. Then we can now reduce to the lowest term. Now, is there anything that can be reduced to the lowest term? No. So we are going to multiply the numerator by the numerator, and we divide by the denominator. So we are going to have now 3 times 3, that is 9, times 3 27. So our a now will now be equal to 27 all over b, all over 4. That is the B part of the question. Then we can now go to the C part of the question. We are asked to find B is equal to dash when A is equal to 12. We are still going to make reference to our A. What is that A again? We have A is equal to 3 all over 4 B squared. Now, what is our A? Our A is 12. So we have 12 is equal to 3 b squared all over 4. So from here, we can cross multiply and make b the subject of formula. That means we cross multiply now. We are going to have over 1 here. This one will multiply here. Then we are going to have from here 3b squared is now equal to 12 times 4. Then I can now divide both sides by 3. If I divide both sides by 3, that means I am going to have 3 will cancel here. 3 here is 1, 3 here is 4. So our b squared now is now equal to 4 times 4, which is 16. So our b now will now be the square root of 16. So b now will now be equal to 4. As you can see, before you can solve question on direct variation, you need to know, you need to understand change of subject or formulae, because that is the principle behind variation. We have come to the end of another episode. In our subsequent episode, we are going to take it off from here, as in we are going to continue from solving question under the other types of variation. God bless you. God bless me.